solar plexus, but I struggle to explain emotional authority to others. Got it. So, when it comes to emotional authority, it's like everybody has emotional waves, not just people that have defined solar plexus, right? Is human design the one that's a circle with numbers everywhere? Yes, that's called the rave mandala. Noella, thanks for the follow. Um, I was going to follow you, but I already am. Yeah, Angela, awesome. I'll look for your email. Um, so yeah, when it comes to the emotional wave, it's funny because the emotional wave, it can be challenging to explain because in my perspective, and let's actually pull a body graph up here real quick. Let's pull a body graph up. Boom. There you go. So this is the solar plexus, and this is a defined solar plexus. If it were white, that would be undefined, but this is a defined solar plexus. So if you have this in your body graph, it means that you are a person that is subject to your own emotional authority. It means that, yes, Summer, thank you for letting me know. I had no idea. That might have been going on like that for like the past multiple lives, which would suck. But anyway, thank you for that, Summers. Appreciate it. If you have the emotional solar plexus defined in your body graph, it means that your emotions are a point of authority in your life, meaning that you can't just set your emotions to the side, right? They're just like, if you try to do that, you're not setting them to the side, you're just pushing them further back down your throat. And part of what the emotions are here to help us do is discover the truth through the developing of patience and acceptance and love, right? We have three awareness centers. We've got the emotional solar plexus, we've got the mental ajna, and we've got the survival spleen. Okay. So this is physiological and danger. Okay. Anything that's going to interrupt biological processes like your heart beating, like your brain sending electrical signals, like your muscles working, the spleen is dialed in to keep you safe. And it does that by making you afraid of things so that you can become aware of danger. The ajna does this in the mental realm. Okay, so it's not about organs, it's not about survival, it's about the mental realm and specifically concepts and ideas. It's about taking ideas and figuring out the best possible way or configuration of energies so that those ideas can then become manifested or that those problems have solutions manifested. This is very much so about the external world and what's going on. So if it's green, you have a defined ajna. That means that you will have a very like fixed way of thinking. And if you have this channel right here, it's going to be very logical. If you have this channel right here, it's going to be much more, how you say, not necessarily abstract, but much more like you're going to care more about, is it stimulating rather than is it logical. If you have this middle channel here, it's going to be more about like your own unique insights and original ideas. So this helps to flavor the way that you think, right? That's what to think about. This is how to think about it. And when you have a defined ajna, typically it's like your mind is not going to achieve certainty unless you allow it to move in the way that it moves. In another words of saying it is, if you can't explain it to me in my language, I don't get it. Right? That's what a defined ajna is all about. If it's undefined like this, it means you can empathize and you can think like other people. The problem is when you try and always think like other people because you think the way somebody else does it is better than the way that you do it, which is not true. It's just not true. It might be better for them because it's in their body, but you follow what you have here. So, like this person right here, they're not designed to have any strict mental processes that help them achieve certainty, right? Now, this is again certainty. This right here is alerting us to danger. This is alerting us to truth. This is everything that's not biological organs and external reality manifestation of ideas. Solar plexus is relationships, spirituality, it's feelings and moods, right? It's all these things that are, again, not able to really be contextualized by these two centers. This is like the overflow. And this is very different than these two centers. They're all awareness centers, but this is also a motor center, meaning the solar plexus, the feelings, the moods, the relationships, they also generate energy for you. For somebody with a defined solar plexus, one of the things you want to be aware of is when you are moving through your emotional wave and you are now, how you say, projecting onto other people, even if you don't mean to do it, if you're sad and you're crying tears and you're around people, most people are going to notice that you're moving through some kind of emotional wave. And whether you like it or not, they're going to feel it. They're in the splash zone. One of the best things you can do, having emotional authority, is recognize when you're in emotional waves and get the help that you need, which is very, very rarely, I need someone to talk to about what I'm feeling. What you need to do is allow the water that's boiling in your body to come out. You need to cry, you need to scream, you need to do something like that. My first step is figuring out what it is. Second step is go somewhere safe, which is usually away from other people, or at least being around people that know how to like hold you and let you cry and not ask you 1,000 questions that make you feel like some broken toy. Okay. Third step is to move the water in your body. And then fourth step, and this is the most important, after an emotional wave, it's important to lay down and just like let it integrate. Okay, don't go start making an Instagram post about it or telling your friends what you moved through. Like the best thing you can do after moving through an emotional wave is like give yourself time to let that energy settle into your body. So I'm ruled by emotion with a defined solar plexus. I often numb my emotions as a trauma response. Makes sense. So Court, ask yourself what, in the sense of like which emotion do you numb most often? How do you numb it? And then what is your commitment level to not doing that anymore? Because it's going to be hard, but I guarantee it's not going to be as hard as you think. Everyone thinks that their trauma is the worst trauma and that it's unhealable and all that stuff, or they're going to be healing it for a very long time. Not true. Not true in 90% of cases. Okay. The reason that's not true is because it's not that there's something wrong with your emotions or that it's so much. It's the fact that you're not using your solar plexus at all, right? You numb it. So then your factory is not processing emotions. It's not that you have too much emotions, it's that you're not actually processing them. And so it feels like there's a lot, but the solar plexus can do a lot. It can do a lot. I feel like I numb my emotion to the truth. As we spoke, everything would be washed away. Right. So speak, wash it away. One of your best friends in emotional processing is water. So again, water holds memory. Water holds memory. It has the highest memory potential out of all the elements: earth, fire, air. Water is the thing that holds energy. Water is part of our body, like over 70%, right? So when you move the water off your body, you're also letting go of the stories. All the trauma that you experience that you think makes you messed up, if you cry the tears of that trauma, it can leave your body. And that's one of the only ways it actually can. Are you sensitive to others' energy as a reflector, or you do think it can depend on the reflector? It depends. If I want to be sensitive to someone's energies, I know how to do that. If I want to not be sensitive, if I want to repel somebody's energy, I know how to do that. And it's the same as this. Look, and this hopefully you guys learn from this because this is simple. This doesn't take any training at all. Okay. This is me being open to your energy. Okay. This is me being closed off. It's body language, right? It's body language, but it's because the electromagnetic animation of your body, it's this. It's this. And for reflectors, you can be either open or closed. This is one of the benefits of being a reflector is you can either be open or closed. So this may be challenging for other types. However, if a projector is like versus there's a different energy there. And so learning whether or not you want to be open or you want to be closed is important because sometimes you want to be open, but your body is closed. Your mind has you convinced that this person is going to hurt you or take advantage of you or something like that. But there's actually no real danger. And so you're closed, but you want to be open. So how do you bridge the gap? How do you bridge the gap? Well, you do it with practice. And the thing that you have to start practicing is practice watching yourself in situations, which this is one of the most like incredible skills that you can develop. And one of the things that I think human design does best is cultivate self-awareness, the ability to watch yourself in situations. Um, yeah, and to finish this thought right here about the solar plexus, if you have an undefined solar plexus, it doesn't mean you don't have emotional waves. It means that most of the emotional energy in your life is going to come from other people. You're going to have your own emotional waves moving through your own emotional waves, but it will likely be the result of other people's emotional energy, at least sparking it off, right? This also means that you're also going to be receptive to other people's emotions, which typically tends to turn into this like, I suppress my own emotions because I'm so busy holding emotional space for other people. That's not how an undefined solar plexus is supposed to work. It's supposed to work like this: that person is living in their truth, that person is suppressing emotions. It's supposed to be a recognizer of emotional energy as opposed to just like an emotional punching bag. As a projector, even though my face is rested, people still think I'm open. So Lee, there might be parts of you that are validated by that level of openness. And one of the things that for projectors that they get to work on in this lifetime, right, is in terms of success. Your definition of success, which is your signature, is different than somebody else's definition of success. But it is no small thing to decondition yourself from the hoisted or the bolstered definition of success. It's very hard to do this because success in today's world is very material. It's not very emotional. It's physiological sometimes, but it's very material. It's about what you have. Success. Now, success is not actually about what you have. Success is actually about, for a projector, it's about being appreciated by people around you. It's not about being validated for what you've done. It's about being appreciated for who you are. And it takes time to find those people. Specifically, it takes time for you to develop the eyes and the senses and the awareness to recognize those people when they're in front of you. And if they're not in front of you, you have to learn how to recognize that and make some space as well. I got out of bed. I'm successful. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't get out of bed, or a lot of people will stay in bed because they don't want to do what they want to do or what they have to do. And it's because they haven't been creating a life that they actually want to live. They've just been doing the easy thing, which is living out other people's egos, other people's ideas, other people's way of thinking. And that's why they don't want to get out of bed. I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, I'm ready to get on live, or I'm ready to like go, jump in a waterfall or play my guitar or play with my daughter. I'm excited to be awake. I use sleep as a way to get energy so that when I wake up, I can come do this for y'all and work on the things that I work on to share with you guys. So gratitude is the attitude, exactly. Crushing on you. Appreciate it. I'm a that's a ring. But thank you. You can definitely still crush on me. And please crush on me if it helps you to learn about human design, because one thing that I feel like is for me as well. I'm 31, but I feel like I'm like 20 something, right? I feel like I'm really young. And I think that is because of human design. Because if you think about it, if you put the right fuel in a vehicle, it will run well. What happens when you put diesel in a gas engine? It breaks. Most people are operating off of improper motivation. They're operating off improper energy, and improper is just like it's you can't rely on it, right? And it's funny because as a being with fully undefined centers, uh, I have, how you say, I have no real consistent energy to rely on. And so I have an environment that energizes me. And I have groups of people that, depending on what energy or motivation I need, I can tap into them. Like, I've designed my life, and it took me, how you say, 31 years to design this life. And with that experience, I can, and especially part of my body graph, if we do one-on-ones, I can help you design a life that it like is based off this, but then it's also based off all of the experiences that you've had that you're going to tell me about, that we're then going to harmonize with your body graph. So um Misty Bab, I was so desperate when I tried to be what others told me I should be. Yeah. And it's you know one of the things I like to say is you find human design always at the perfect time, because if you found it earlier, you wouldn't do anything with it. You wouldn't have the courage to do it. Human design comes to people at a time in their life when they actually have courage to do something about it. And so Yeah, that's what I want to say. How do you tap into another to grab that energy to do what you desire? So it really has to do with the composite, and depending on like sort of what our composite does, but then also the way that the person energizes me. Like for instance, if I want to get more into my physical body, I'm going to hit my boy Luke up. If I want to get more into my financial body, I'm going to hit my boy Will up. And it's because they have expertise in those areas. It's like I'm using them as like a, like I want to listen to like a metal album, I want to like work out really hard, I put the metal CD in, right? The band that's been playing metal or the band that's been playing jazz if I want to listen to jazz. So it's literally just a matter of like identifying these individuals in the real world, what their skills are, whether or not they're awake, whether or not they're living out their design, which for the most part those people in my life are, and then knowing how to tap them and give them something to respond to or invite them the proper way or inform them the proper way. How to allow energies to pass through your open centers and not take them in. Have a lot of open centers. So anything you cool down to sub-zero temperatures will allow energy to pass through it. Okay. So essentially what you have to do is you have to cool your body down and be more relaxed in the scope of that. So for instance, if you have an undefined or an open solar plexus or an open ego, what you have to do is expose yourself to other people's ego and other people's emotions and practice the art of relaxation, which is a lot more than just like doing breathing techniques, although a lot of it is like doing box breathing. So next time you're around somebody with a big ego or a big emotions, do box breathing, which is, if you guys don't know, inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, exhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds. That's box breathing. Inhale, hold, exhale, hold. That will help you calm down. But harnessing true like non-resistance is having to do with relaxation. Can you watch somebody go through emotional waves without absorbing any of their emotional waves? Yes. Yes, you will probably get a little bit on you, but there's like, for instance, if I'm watching someone go through an emotional wave and somebody who doesn't know how to relax does it, has a hyped up nervous system, it's not going to work. Samantha, yes, I do one-on-ones. If you go to my website, you can check out my openings and my time, only if they are not my children, right? So as a mother, and this is really interesting, right? As a mother, and I've noticed this with my partner as well, because her response to our child, you know, being injured or scraping her knee or being upset is so much more severe than my own. And so I can only control what's going on in my body, right? And if there's something that I cannot control going on in my body, it's much better for me to recognize that I can't control it and work on that than pretend and talk about it like I can control it. Like there's certain things that if they happened, I probably would not be able to control my reaction. But most things that have happened to me have taught me and created a level of tolerance and resilience that I can remain calm in the moment and actually address it. And so one of the things that helps with that is opening up the vagus nerve. So you guys see how my neck is widening, and then you guys see this? This is me sucking information out of my primary sensory receptors and bringing it into my body. If you see if you see something with your eyes and you smell it with your nose and you don't bring it into your body to be processed, you are stuck processing it up here. Okay, again, let's talk about real stuff. If there's something going on in front of you that's overwhelming to your mind, the idea that it's going to be overwhelming to your body is not always the case, right? The body has access to so much more energy and faculties and pressure and heat to process things that the mind does not have access to, really. And unless you learn how to swallow it, bring it into your body, it will stay up in your head. So for those of you that are asking like, well, how do I do that? How do I learn to swallow? There's a series of techniques. They're called sensory mechanics. And the only way to get them is through the archive. The archive is my off TikTok subscription. There's a place for discussions, there's a place for learning, there's a bunch of courses in there. And it's like it will show you there's a module in there called sensory mechanics that will show you practices to help you widen your neck, make your hands bigger, increase the pressure and temperature of your body so that you can cook things properly. It'll make your eyesight better. It'll make your peripheral vision better. Um, and this is again, all of this is available on my website. Wealthy Prosperous. So this is Neutrino Design, which you can get for 25% off. It's an app on the App Store, but go through the link in my bio, you get 25% off. It's the same app. It's a different process of signing up. Basically, you sign up on my website, you'll get an email, you take that code, you download the app, and then you enter that code onto the app, and you'll have access to the app. It's not a like trial version, it's the full version, just at 25% off, because me and the developer are homies. It's called Neutrino Design. And Vico, if you go to my website, you'll see it. Just go to my website and scroll down a little bit, you'll see it. I'm a 3-5 Jenny, and I was wondering how you move through projections. So one of the things about, like I was mentioning before, with like allowing energy to move through my undefined centers without being tainted. I'm training, I'm watching that part of myself that wants to grab onto things. And I'm just relaxing it so that it's too slow to grab onto stuff. Like I'm so busy watching and in awe of things that I don't really grab onto stuff. So when it comes to projections, that's what I am. I'm so like present and like, oh wow, like you really are projecting this onto me. This is your view of how I am. And I'm so like curious about that. I don't have time to defend it. And the reason I don't have time to defend it is because I'm so present to all the sensations. And this has taken a lot of time. This is not my chart. This is my buddy Pasha's chart. Um yeah, but what I was going to say is when it comes to projections, like I eat them. When it comes to emotions, like I eat everything. I've been doing spirituality for like 13 years, guys. And I before that I was a martial artist. And martial arts and spirituality to me are the best thing ever. It's funny that people usually go martial arts or spirituality. They don't do them at the same time, because when you do them at the same time, you have a physically hardened body as well as a spiritually attuned mind. That's the best human being, in my opinion. And I also recommend anybody that is dealing with any kind of anxiety or fear or self worth issues or any of that, dude, get in a boxing gym, get in a jujitsu gym, get in a Muay Thai gym, get in some kind of like martial arts, because one of the things that you have to realize is that you're not as fragile as you fucking think that you are. Right? Just because you've been broken before doesn't mean that you're a fragile human being. Now, we are sensitive human beings, and that's awesome. You want to train that sensitivity. For instance, when someone's projecting on me, I can tell whether or not their projection is valid based off my own reflex to defend. If I'm reflexive to defend, I'm like, oh, this projection has some weight. I probably should look at this. If I have no reflex to defend, it's usually pretty clear that I'm like, oh, this person is just, projecting all their shit on me. Yes, I love that. I was just talking about how I'm so lucky I found Muay Thai. Yes. And part of that is like, can you get punched in the face and not, you know, oh, everything just goes red and bodies start hitting the floor? No, they don't. No, they don't. It's not a switch. It's not a switch. It has to be a dial, guys. Right. So when people are projecting onto you, just like take it, because here's the thing: either they're projecting onto you and you can learn something from the way somebody else sees you, which might be, I don't ever want to see you again, you are totally out of line. Okay, that's what you might learn. Or it's, oh wow, I'm able to step outside my own experience, see myself from another person's point of view, see how I might be showing up in a way where I'm not being as intentional as I want to be, and I can do better. That's what a projector is. Or sorry, that's not a projector. That's how I handle projection. And people don't usually project on me. People project a lot of like golden stuff, like, wow, you're so great. How did you get here? And I just have to point to like this muddy trail and mess of stuff, right? I'm like, yeah, it looks really good, but it's like I did all this and I'm happy with what it is, but it's like it's not like I was just I was just born this way. Like I had to work and struggle. And for me, what I was passionate about, speaking of, the sun in transit, the detail that for me within like the whole spiritual world had to do with this concept of consumption, right? Like what am I consuming? What am I exposing myself to? What are the people around me consuming and exposing themselves to? Because all of that is going to make up my body, uh energetically and physically. if I can just get good at being aware of what I'm consuming, that's going to help me build a better body. So anyway, yes, it's how I feel. People don't realize the road to the glow. Yeah. And again, that's very typical for people that haven't done the work, because the people that have done work, they know none of this stuff happens on accident. I manifester visited my projector friend, and we are sort of sat around. This was my energy. Maybe, when you get into, and it's funny because a lot of people will think just sitting around is awkward, but you guys remember those relationships when you were younger, where it's like your friend is playing with a toy, having an adventure. You're in the same room, but you're playing with a different toy, having a totally different adventure, and there was no anxiety about like, what should we be doing, blah 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 blah. So that's great. If you have someone like that in your life where you can be in the same room, but you don't have to be engaging with each other, you can be quiet and just like enjoy each other's presence. That's awesome. I literally was thinking that as we listen in. Yes, we definitely are what we eat. Yes, yes, those are the best friends. Yeah, straight up. And like, the sad thing is, projectors seldom find other projectors in real life. So, and this is one of the things that, you know a lot of beings have to learn before they can like earn the gift of true friendship, is learn the value of being alone, because the perceived value that you have, the value that you think you bring to the table, until you're alone, you're not actually going to understand what that is. And what I mean by this is, like, when you're alone, if you don't absolutely love and enjoy being alone, doing the things that you do, right? If you struggle with being alone, the struggle is what you're bringing to other people, right? What I mean by that is, like, until you learn to tolerate and enjoy yourself, you're not really going to understand the value that you can bring to another group of people. So a lot of projectors, unfortunately, have to go through this year and a half of like being alone and struggling. And like, really, like, I really want friends, but I don't have friends. It's like, if you're in that phase right now, CC, like, just keep going, right? Just keep going, because what happens is, eventually you realize, like, oh, the right people are going to see me. And what you really have to do is not only embrace the aloneness. CC, thanks for being so open to that. I know it can be kind of sharp, but one of the things that you also have to do is learn how to actualize your energy when it's there, right? You may not sign up for a year-long dance class and go to every class. You may sign up for a year-long dance class and go when you have energy, but do that. And you don't need to wait for someone to invite you to do things that you want to do. If you want to go exploring, if you want to start learning something, like, go do that, right? Go do that for yourself. Strategy is here to help us enter into specifically things with other people in the right way, right? So it's like, if you want to start a band, start a band. Start a band. What instrument do you want to play? What songs do you have? Put a posting out, attract some people, right? But don't go to a band that already exists and initiate and be like, I want to be in your guys' band. That's typically not going to work. Now, when it comes to things like that, like a band, the reason that's challenging for a projector is because you might have energy one day to start a band, but you're not going to have energy tomorrow to keep the band going. So as long as you're aware of that, hey, the thing that you're working on, you're going to have inconsistent energy to work on that thing, as opposed to a generator or manifesting generator that will typically have more sustained energy to work more consistently on a thing. Just know that your building of something as a projector, right, is not going to be as consistent as some other people would say that it needs to be for success. You're fine. You're fine. And this is the difference between someone that started a band at, started making music at 18, and 10 years later, like, they're still making music. Maybe they haven't, and this is actually my story. Maybe they haven't released a bunch of music, but they're still making music. And they find out, like, that's what they like doing, is making music. It's not necessarily about releasing it for themselves. So anyway, as a fourth line projector, we shouldn't wait for people in our network to introduce us to new opportunities. True. You can get to the point, I imagine, where there are enough people in your network that they are the ones bringing you the opportunities, but never, like, it's funny because it reminds me of sales. They would say new customers always solve problems that old customers create. and it's kind of a half truth. But and if you think about it, when it comes to being a projector, never neglect your own power. Just because some days you're really juiced up and other days you're not, doesn't mean you don't have the power to like still go do things and find new opportunities for yourself. Projector energy expenditure is so hard to grasp, but I'm still trying. Yeah, it's so much more about acceptance than anything, because it's like there's part of you, you're probably going to feel really good on the days that you have a lot of energy and you're getting things done, and you're like, yeah, but then the next day, don't expect that energy to come back like that, right? Give yourself opportunity, and even invite yourself. Hey, look, I want to invite us to celebrate yesterday, but relax today because yesterday was such a big energy expenditure. Can you comment mine? I've got live readings right now. I'm just doing kind of like general overviews. Let's see where are we at with this. We're at 15, or is it 13,000 likes? I don't think we're gonna get that. I don't think we're gonna get that song, but maybe next Monday we will get that song. Once we get to 50K, we can get that song. But Greta, if you want information about it, go to my website, generate your body graph, and then just get one of those reports. If you're really strapped for cash, there's a $20 report that will like reveal all of this for you. But I recommend the $35 one just because it gives you a lot more information about how to use this. An onion, yes, definitely a nap after. So, and this is something that I learned from my projector partner. Um, oh, onion. So Jenny or someone asked if we could get a song if we get up to 50K, if I'd sing, and so I'd do that. So Sergio, I do not trust Chat GTP with human design at all. Some people say that you can get good readings, but I've read what ChatGTP says about human design, and some of it is just flat out wrong. So, Sergio, be very, very mindful. I would not trust anything ChatGTP says about it. So I verify with the actual info. Okay, that's decent. But yeah, ChatGTP. It's funny because ChatGTP will just like randomly like because ChatGTP just scans everything that's free on the internet. And there's so many people that are putting information about human design on the internet that have no idea what they're talking about, or they're just like, have that stuff embodied or integrated into their life. And yeah, so anyway, yeah, if you do anything with ChatGTP, make sure you take it with a grain of salt. Um, ChatGPT, GTP. Thanks. Do you know any good books about human design? So this is the one that I use. Screenshot this if you need a book to study human design. This is like if this were a college course, this would be like the first textbook that you get. I like it. Yeah, it's not a great resource, but not actual AI like people think. Interesting comment, my friend. Because yeah, it's a language learning model, LLMs, right? So it's not technically thinking; it's just following prompts, which is we're getting really close to AI, which is like going to be very interesting, very very interesting. Yeah, Sergio. And honestly, the language learning models are super fun because you can train it so that it actually is good at giving human design information. My thing about that is, if we teach a robot human design and then the robot is teaching humans how to human, I don't know. I just that's a funny situation. But oh yeah, they probably got it already for sure. There are human design apps too. Yeah, so there's when it comes to information about human design, one of my favorite apps, probably actually my favorite app period is this one that I'm showing on my background. It's called Neutrino Design. It just has the coolest features and the most features. It's also one of the most affordable, if not the most affordable app for human design. It also doesn't look like some like, how you say 17-year-old or 18-year-old girl suddenly got into doing yoga and bought a Ganesha poster and like put it away. It doesn't look like a 17-year-old spiritual girl's awakening. But anyway, I have a little T. I just met 9 and 0, and I'm freaking out about it. What? 4537 has a line all the way, but two different colors. What does that mean for manifesting gender? So if you have like, let's see, like right there and red, that means it's just going to be in your design and personality placements. Sergio, you've been training GPT, a GPT. That's pretty sweet. Human design and Vedic astrology has been the most accurate life charts I've come across. Yep. Yeah. But that's pretty cool, Sergio. I've been definitely wanting to do that, and I don't really know how or how to. Anna H, hello friend. Love when I open TikTok and catch your live. Oh, I love that. I love that you love that. That's awesome. He did a reading on me, and I felt my energy, and I was like, "Whoa, what is this? What kind of reading did he do on you, Onion? A human design reading? Well, that's awesome. I'm excited for you. Um, yeah, let's see, what time is it? 9:52. Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a shorter live than usual, guys. Today it's been a long week. I'm just getting off vacation. I was on vacation last weekend. Went to Oahu, which was epic. But holy crap, traveling with a toddler who's just figuring out that she's a toddler is a lot. I learned a lot, and my daughter matured a lot. We were going for my partner's grandma's 85th birthday, and for 85, great Grant Ann is moving super well, little forgetful, but moving super well. And I hope I'm moving that good at 85 as she is. I imagine I'll be moving a lot better than she is at 85 though. So actually, no, it was a tarot, but he's curious about HD. It might get to teach him. We'll see. All right, Onion. Well, I pray for your sacred energy, and whoever this person is that you are being blessed with the presence. For those of you wondering what I'm putting in my nose, this is flight spray, which is turmeric root, spearmint, lime, and distilled water. It's really nice for clearing the sinuses. Um, Name Air, thank you for the follow, my friend. CC, on my human design, I only have crown, ajna, and throat in color, all mind. Okay, so you're mental projector. Mental projectors have it the hardest, in my opinion. And I don't say that to like validate your experience. I say that because whereas a reflector can open and close their aura, projectors are sort of stuck open and absorbing and focusing. And so, Court, amazing. Yes, if it should be in your email if you didn't immediately get taken to a page. Thank you for that. I'm very excited for you as well. There's so much in that Reiki report. I literally designed the Reiki report thinking, how do I give someone enough information so that they don't have to spend any more money on information about human design for like at least a year and a half. That was my intention. I want it. Hopefully that pays out for you. Did this just start? I actually catch it live. Grace, we start at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So we're about 55 minutes in. We've got about maybe 10, 15 minutes left of the live, but thanks for being here as well. So yeah, so all of my mental projectors, again, that's beings with either the head and ajna definition or the throat and ajna definition, but everything below the throat and possibly the throat are undefined for mental projectors. Now, as a mental projector, yes, it's hard because what your authority is the external world. Your ajna is the authority, meaning the external world, your environment is the authority. So it's really helpful for you guys to actually do what reflectors do. Not only are you waiting for invitations, but you're also moving in lunar cycles. So I'll show you a technique that I use as a reflector. And I usually only share it with reflectors, but it can be relevant for anybody. So you see here on this body graph, right? We're in the mandala view. This right there, that's the design moon placement. Over here is the personality moon placement. Pick either this gate or that gate on your body graph and overlay the transit, which the transit button is down here. Turn off all the planets except for the moon and put the moon here or here, the transit moon here or here. Whatever date that says, that's the start of your lunar cycle. For the women out there that are on their cycle, learn this is the same, okay? This is the same, except this doesn't fluctuate as much as an actual menstrual cycle. But that's like the start of your cycle, or that's the start of your cycle. I use the personality one. Having I feel like I haven't leveled up enough to, and I've been doing it for like almost 10 years. I feel like I haven't leveled up enough to start using my design moon as that's just my own like little psychosis. But anyway, mine is 48, which is right over there. Yours will not be 60 probably, but wherever your personality moon is, use line up the transit, the lunar transit, the moon current moon in transit with your personality placement, and then do an audit on yourself. This is how I feel about my physical self. This is how I feel about my emotional self. This is how I feel about my mental self. This is how I feel about my spiritual self. Those to me are only the four bodies that matter. You can add finances in there. You can add joy in there. You can add creative in there. You can add friendship. You can add whatever you want. But if you don't have physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whenever that your cycle starts, do like a page, write out a page about those four sectors. And it doesn't have to be like a journal written out. For freedom of movement, two, right? But get something on down on paper and then set an intention. So okay, so for the next 28 days, the moon is going to go through all of these gates, activating various parts of your body graph, right? And when you get back to this spot here, do it again. And that's how you do it. So Kaylee Niles. So if you go to my website, ReikiMarco.com, you can plug in your information and it will give you a body graph. Yes, you do need the time of birth. And if you don't know the time of birth, what I recommend doing is subscribing to this app, because there's a feature in here. You see, it says changes within 12 hours. If you enter your birth time at noon, then you'll be able to go 12 hours back to the beginning of the day and 12 hours forward to the end of the day, and you'll be able to see all the changes that happen in between. Now, if you're in that situation, there's also that up there, the three lines up there, that there's also a birth time rectification feature in neutrino design, which is an incredible feature. However, you have to take that with a grain of salt, because it is your mind answering questions. It's not necessarily revealing your body graph. But what I would do with that is the same thing we did here. For 28 days, live out the body graph that the birth time rectification gives you, then do the test again in 28 days and live that one out and see if that one's better. Again, this is about self-awareness. It's not about being told who you are or what this means. It's about seeing for yourself. Where does that channel show up? Where does that channel show up? Where does that channel show? Oh, wow, all of these channels show up except for this one. No wonder you feel out of whack, right? This it's a diagnosing tool. And so, but the true value is in the awareness that you can gather from this. Boop. Bingo. Yeah, Kaylee. And again, I have, so if you go on my website and generate your body graph, if you do know your time, get one of my reports, because it will just explain everything. I recommend the Reiki report. It's the more expensive one, but only by $15. All of my stuff I think is super affordable. I do offer chart readings. I'm not doing them here on live. This live is kind of coming to a close anyway, but I do offer chart readings. Just go to my website, scroll down a little bit, an hour and a half of my time. But the amount of work that we can get done in an hour and a half, and the amount of time and energy that I can save you if we're just one-on-one, because it's not oh, I'm going to read the report to you. It's you tell me what's going on with your life, and I'm going to show you how to integrate. Like, you're over here, your report's over here. I'm going to put you guys on top of each other. It's part of my design. I'm a reflector. I'm a 3-5 reflector. So if you give me the opportunity to do that, yeah, I will explode your world in a good way. I also do 2-on-1 readings. So if you have a partner or a child or somebody else's body graph that you'd like to do a composite reading with, I do that. And I also do business analysis. What does it mean if nothing is going on in those other places? I feel disconnected from root, sacral, etc. So typically, and again with the mental projector, right? A lot of these centers are defined, meaning you're not going to have a way to consistently connect to those energies, right? So it's like the fact that you're looking for a way to connect with those energies, you're going to find that through being in the proper environment, because that would be adhering to your natural inner authority. So for instance, if you don't feel like, for instance, you feel disconnected from your root and your sacral, if you're in the right environment, the idea is that, how you say, your relaxed way of, because typically undefined root is like, you don't have a typical way of dealing with stress. You don't really work that well when there's a lot of stress. Same thing with the sacral. You don't really work as well when there's something that demands your energy every day and it's a high demand thing. Like rather than landscaping, you ought to be do like tending to a garden. Or in the terms of like keeping it all within the gardening context, it might be hard for you to create a garden, but it's easier for you to maintain a garden. It might be harder for you to clean up a garden that's never been cleaned up for like 3 or 4 months than it is to maintain a garden that's been being maintained for multiple, because again, it's not as much energy expenditure. But the proper environment will invite you into those undefined centers. There's also probably a bit of fear and mental resistance towards connecting with sexual energy and stress and momentum, just because you probably had a lot of other people's energy in there for you. I accidentally put 7 a.m. instead of 5, and it says I was a man gen. Wow, 2 hours makes a difference. I fixed it. Yeah. So 2 hours can make a difference. A minute can make a difference, guys. A minute can make a difference in your body graph. Now, that being said, one of the important things to recognize again is that you have to experiment with this, right? You have to experiment with this for yourself, or have somebody else who knows the system really well, like myself, like give you these are the next steps. Because again, a lot of people will get their human design, be overwhelmed by it, be like, "Wow, I'm not there yet. I'm a failure." It's like, no, you just need to take a step towards that thing. So most and least common human design that I've come across. So the most common design that I've come across is probably an emotional manifesting generator. The least common technically is reflectors, but the least common configuration that I've come across is actually somebody that has all of their centers defined. Having all of your centers defined, that's an emotional manifesting generator or an emotional generator, depending on the circuitry. That's more rare than a reflector. I'm a projector and I still struggle with being drained, so I thought I might book a reading. Yeah, yeah, do it. Definitely when it comes to like being drained, some of the things that I'm going to suggest you do if you want to, not necessarily to say if you want to save money, but if you want to like get some advancement in an area that you don't have to wait to do a session with me, get on the archive, which is my membership off TikTok. It's off TikTok. It's in my bio. Get on the archive and start learning the biomechanics and the sensory mechanics. Because as a projector, one of the, and I recommend this for everyone really, but especially for projectors that are struggling with being drained. One of your problems is that your body and your senses have low tolerance, meaning that let's say you're around people with like level 50 energy and your tolerance is at 25. Well, you're already over your limit, right? Just the fact that the people are there, you're already over your limit. So you're either going to have to not be around people with such high energy, or you're going to have to level energy, which is the same as being able to see more clearly, and have a stronger physical body. All my centers are defined except for the bottom one. What does that mean? Probably your emotional authority, definitely, and you're either a generator or a manifesting generator. Vic. Oh, we're at 25,000. Looks like 20,000. For me, it's people stealing my energy, and not giving me my space or appreciation of time. Yeah. So Gila, it's again, it's going to be a combination of part of what I'm also talking about in terms leveling up your tolerance is also going to be leveling up your standard that will exclude the type of people that will steal your energy, because there's definitely people out there that are able to like receive your energy, but here's the kicker is you don't give power away, nobody steals it from you. You're either tapping into it or you're not. And my guess is that if you were tapping into your power, or you were tapping into that, you wouldn't have people around you that were stealing your energy, or that you would perceive to be stealing your energy. Because again, it's not that they're not stealing, it's not that they're stealing your energy. It's more like you're just not using your energy. Does that make sense? And so, like I said, if you want to work with me, one of the first things I'm going to do is tell you to start training your biomechanics and your sensory mechanics. What that means is that go into my archive, pay it's $11 to get in there. Pay the $11 and start taking the course that says sensory mechanics and start taking the course that says Makawao biomechanics, because it's going to teach your physical body how to access some of that power that you're not using. Yes, Gila. Wait to get my report. Learn more. Yes. Hello. I'm genuinely curious what's happening in the live, please, and what's behind you. So, Marlena, this is a body graph. You have one. And if you've never seen it before, all you got to do is go to my website, enter your information, and it'll generate this for you. This is human design, and it's showing you like what things you need to pay attention to, what things you need to focus on, and what things maybe you can, stop being so hard on yourself about. So yes, I do even know that I'm not using my energy the way I should. And it's because no one taught us, Gila, no one taught us. In elementary school. We were not taught how to, throw a ball or how to run. We were just told to run or to play a sport. In school, we're not taught how to think, we're told what to think. That's why people are so messed up, because they're not taught how to do these things. They're told what to do. And this is why human design, I'm not teaching you guys what to do. I'm teaching you guys, hopefully, how to teach yourself. Right? There's that saying, right? It's like, teach a man to fish, feed him for a day. Teach a man, or sorry, if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach a man a fish, you feed him for the rest of his life. I'm teaching people how to fish. I'm also a Pisces, but this is your map of where the fruitful fishing spots are going to be. And if you don't use a map, you're navigating without a GPS. This is technology that makes navigation easier. There's a lot of people, I'm sure, that are like, man, I miss the days when you didn't have GPS and you just knew where everything was. It's like, yeah, but guess what? Everyone's world was a lot smaller back in those times. Okay, the world is a lot bigger there now. Pisces, reflect your team. Let's go. Britta, we're best friends now. Um, I love reflectors. I can empathize with them. And if you're still sane, and by still sane, I mean, as long as you have like 13-14% of your sanity left, you're still sane. Congratulations on making it this far. Because a lot of reflectors don't. Like a lot of children reflectors, I imagine, and maybe one day I'll fulfill my dream of opening up an orphanage for reflectors. But a lot of children reflectors just get the shit kicked out of them, physically, emotionally. Like, they just get absolutely destroyed. By the time they're 20 years old, they're already addicted to drugs. They're already addicted to validation in very, very far gone kind of ways. And so, if you've made it to Gila, I just saw you got started with the archive. Congratulations. Welcome to the party. Can we do an orphanage for manifestors too? Honestly, there should just be like a human design orphanage. And maybe we just do that. Maybe we just do that, squad. Maybe I just set it up. I wouldn't run it, because I don't know how to run an orphanage, but we could probably find the necessary people and actually start orphanages that will take in specific types, which would be very cool. And if you want to do a reading, Muhammad Osman, or okay, Allah Muhammad. If you want to do a reading, just go to my website. You can book a reading through my website. The difference between a reflector and a projector have a more penetrating aura, right? Where it's like absorbing information about another person and then like cutting through their aura into like root causes. A reflector is open close aura, meaning that it's like, I'm either closed off to you or I'm open to you and I'm receiving information from you. Projectors are really good at helping you get somewhere. Reflectors are really good at letting you know where you're at. Wonderful, Gila. I'm so stoked. Thank you for being a person of their word. I really appreciate that. Can exercising help gain tolerance? The right kind of exercise, Lee, can definitely help you get tolerance. So down to adopt and heal orphan reflectors. I know, right? Like it's like, and it's funny because as I'm talking about it, I'm like, oh, that's like a really far out idea, but the purity of that idea, shit, is so powerful, guys. I'm definitely gonna put that into my my lunar transit, because to be a part of creating a reflector orphanage, and I would start with reflectors just because that's where my heart is truly at. Um, God, that would be so cool. Wow, interesting. Okay. What does it mean to be a projector with self-projected authority? So, self-projected authorities means you have this, you don't have any of this. I mean, you No, no, no. It means you that's the highest, that's the defined center that you have. The self-projection, meaning that you're here to guide yourself, right? So in order to guide yourself, do something what's called soundboarding, which is either talking to a friend and getting their feedback, or talking to a friend and not getting their feedback and just like listening to yourself talk. It could be recording a video, it could be writing and journaling and being able to guide yourself. So I would start with the sensory mechanics, just because you can get a lot more how you say out of the biomechanics once you have some of the sensory mechanics stuff ingrained. And so do the sensory mechanics, Gila, because there's like 5 videos in there that I would want you to do, and then start working on the biomechanics. Because I learned biomechanics first and then sensory mechanics. And I was like, oh my God, these sensory mechanics would have helped so much with biomechanics. So just, the benefit of my third line can be your benefit. Yeah. And authority as well, for anyone wondering what authority, because I talk about it a lot. Strategy and authority. Strategy helps you enter into things with people that are correct for you. Inner authority lets you know what's correct for you, and it contrasts with what's called the external authority, which is what's going on in the external world. Everybody is manifesting to a degree their inner authority. Some people are not manifesting their inner authority at all. These are the people that are complaining about everything because they haven't had a hand in any of it. They haven't contributed anything to it. So, of course, if you're not giving to life, life is not going to be able to give you anything because it doesn't know what to give you. You give life the thing that you want. If you want satisfaction from life, you have to give life your satisfaction. Now, human design tells you follow your strategy and authority, and you will be able to give the world your satisfaction. In giving the world your satisfaction, you will receive that which you are giving. You reap what you sow. More about the 3-5 projector? Sure. So I'm a 3-5. 3-5 is a profile. And for other people, it's different, right? Some people are like 6-2. Some people are 4-1. Some people are 1-4. The 3-5 is all about martyr heretic. It's all about like trial and error, learning through making bonds, breaking bonds, messing things up, learning from the mistakes. And then the fifth line is all about like solutions. And it's about bringing solutions that are specifically, solving problems that are maybe a little bit ahead of their time. So a lot of the times, the 3-5 is sort of projected upon as this like herald of doom, right? It's like Jesus was a heretic, right? There was a one kind of way of living and one kind of way of connecting with God through the church, and Jesus was like, fuck all that, just have a relationship with God, have a relationship with me. That's a relationship with God. You're good. You don't need the church. So a lot of the times the heretic gets pointed out as like a witch because they are here to like shift things, right? They are here to like shift things with the solutions that they bring, that sometimes the people in power don't want those solutions brought forward. And so for like a 3-5 and a 2-4, my best friend and my brother, two separate beings, although my brother is also my best friend, they're 2-4s. One of the things that I find with like 2-4s, right, is that they have this acknowledged ability to bring people together, but they usually don't spend enough time alone, right? Because there's a lot more perceived value. There's a lot more external value based in bringing people together as opposed to being alone. When you're alone, society usually says you're isolated, you're antisocial, there's something wrong with you, you need medication, blah, blah. Not true. For a 2-4, it's very important to be alone, almost more important than having a strong network, although you can't really say that. They're both equally important. How to tune into emotional authority better? I feel my emotions are more confusing than clarifying. Great question. Clock Sibla. I knew a 2-4 generator who worked themselves crazy. Yeah, it's unfortunately that a lot of them do that. But how to tap into your emotions. So two things that I would recommend. The first thing, since I was talking about the archive, I'll talk about it again. The first thing is a passive approach to emotions. What I mean by passive is that you're not waiting for emotions to come up to connect with them. What you're doing is you're actively daily going in to a space where there is a available emotion to work with. Now, what I mean by this and why I'm talking about the archive is because what I'm talking about is trigger point therapy, soft tissue release. So if everyone here is to go just below your collarbone and you feel from the center of your chest plate all the way out to your shoulder, and I'm just like looking around. I'm looking around for an adhesion. I'm looking around for like, oh, there's soft muscle, and for me it's right here. For you, it might be a little bit further up, it might be more over here, but anytime you find like a knot in your muscle, that's called an adhesion. The reason it's there is because at some point something happened here, and in order to heal that part of it, my body naturally put a cast on it. Now, unlike when a doctor puts a cast on your arm, this does not get taken off. When you get a cast put on your arm, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? People write on it. When your body is done healing, they cut the cast off. Here, no one cuts the cast off. You have to be the one to cut the cast off. So, like now, I'm pressing on it, and it's sensational. It's like a 7 out of it's like it's like a 7 out of 10. This is painful, guys. This hurts me. Okay. The reason I'm doing this is because after 2 minutes, my body will recognize that this pain is not the type of pain that I'm looking to avoid. It's not the type of pain that it's like I'm hurting myself, I'm damaging myself. It's the type of pain of like, oh, there's something frozen in here. There's something hard in here that should be soft. Every part of your body should be soft except for your bones, right? And if it's not hard, if it's not soft, it's not integrated and it's frozen. This is what you call either tonic muscles or flaccid muscles, muscles that never let go or muscles that never turn on. Part of working with the emotions is finding these adhesions in your body and putting energy on them. So I'm digging into this, right? Cece? Well, thankfully all your teachers can't be like me, because then you'd have too many teachers that are easy to listen to and I would be less valuable. But anyway, thank you for saying that either way. I appreciate it. This is the way that I work on my emotions. Yes, this is in the archive. This is why I'm talking about it. So this is in the archive in the form of sequences. So in the sequence, the upper body sequence, if you have neck pain, if you have any of that stuff, we release pec, pec, lat, lat, and then the traps going down the back. Lower body has a sequence as well. And again, these sequences are on the on the archive. Sophia, what about tonified muscle like after a workout? So you can do this after a workout or before a workout. This is something I usually do, excuse me, after I eat, because it's a nice way to digest things. Um, but I'm doing this as a passive emotional practice, because what happens is when you're doing this, you're putting water into areas that have not been hydrated, or you're breaking apart areas that have not been accessed in a while. And so when it comes to emotions, like that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to explore the parts of our physical body that are neglected. That's your connection to your emotional world, is the water inside your body. And so when you're doing soft tissue, I call it demon hunting just because that's kind of what it is. It's not just freeing up physical tissue. Also, the next time you cry or when you sweat during your next workout, all of the trauma that's associated with that water that you got in there is coming out. Lymphatic massage does a very similar thing. And how do we know which parts need attention? It really depends. But typically, pain is how you can tell. And here's the thing: if you're not touching your body, you may not be in pain. But once you start to explore, you're going to find some areas where, oh, I'm touching it. I'm not even putting that much pressure and it's painful. Those are the areas that you're looking for. So in the archive, there's videos on how to do all of this stuff and the different sequences. And it's like a walk along. And I'm the one doing it. So, I'll crack a joke every now and then. Fashion Slayer, what's up? Thank you guys, by the way, for all the likes. Super appreciate it. Let's see, what are we at now? 27,000. Oh, we're getting close to the end. We're not going to get to, I don't think we're going to get to 50, but anyway. And I was wondering what those things are on my chest. Good, I came here today. Right. So this is part of lymphatic massage. which I could probably add some of those on the archive. But specifically, what I'm looking to do, as opposed to stimulate the lymph, I'm actually looking to go into the muscle tissues, to go into the tendons, and actually release there. So, what if doing that releases emotions that you can't handle? Angie, I promise you can handle it. I promise you can handle it. I understand your trepidation, but if you can't handle it, get off it. That's it. If it's like too painful for you, get off it. And what you really need to understand is like that's not a failed soft tissue. If it's like so intense that you're like, I need to get off this, just get off it. What happens is, number one, the pain goes away immediately, right? Because it's like you're not like damaging yourself. It's how you say, a lot of the times when you're working on certain parts of your body, there's going to be emotional responses that, again, you might not perceive that you'll be able to handle, but just the same way that you handle it when there's no emotional response, it's just in, out. How do you get through hard times? You breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the mouth, out through the mouth. Doesn't matter. You just breathe, like however you can, right? Like people talk a lot of time about failure, but what they don't recognize is that you didn't die, right? Like, oh, maybe you didn't, catch the wave during your first time surfing. Did you fail? Yeah, I failed. No, did you die? They're like, no, I didn't die. Okay, great. You did great. Yeah, but that definitely, Angie, is and I'm not trying to like um I'm trying to gas you up. If anything, I'm like, you can handle it, you can do this. Not trying to say anything else, because here's the reality is, a lot of people will take a 15-minute crying session, and because they don't want to cry for 15 minutes or feel sorry for themselves, they will spend the next 10 years of their life moving through weird emotional waves because they're suppressing those emotional waves. It's much easier to just handle the emotional waves when they come up. So, Court, very interesting. I forget who asked about that. Autoimmune disease would be spleen stuff. I would look in the spleen for it. Just as well, when it comes to autoimmune system stuff, this is like the immune system attacking itself, hyper fixation on danger, or immunity, or wanting to keep things out of your field. One of the things that I would do is I would look into the sensory mechanics on the archive, because a lot of what the sensory mechanics is doing is teaching us how to perceive reality in a more objective way by creating more of a peripheral vision. So most people are looking and they have a crosshair. They're focused. When you find people with, like, for instance, professional race car drivers, their point of focus is not a point, it's much wider. They have peripheral focus. So, because here's the thing is, if you're driving at 150 miles an hour and you focus over here, the car is going to go over there. When you're moving at those high speeds, focus, that's where it's going to go. So I need to be able to see over there without looking away from where I want to go. That's what this is about. Is there maintenance on your page right now? It doesn't give access. What are you talking about? Here, let me see if I can get in. There is some kind of like upgrades going on in with like the whole system. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is maybe not access. Yeah, I'm getting something like that too. So there might be, it tells me to refresh, but I did. Yeah, I'm refreshing as well. Let's see. It's working for me. It's working for me. Maybe trying a different browser, Gila. Whole system update. Yeah, and they actually was really cool because I use a system called Go High Level, which is just like, build your website, send out emails, create automations, all that kind of stuff. There is a whole system. They just did like their how you say, yearly event, and they're rolling out a bunch of new things. So I wouldn't be surprised if some things are a little glitchy. But you should be able to access it by the end of the day. And if you can't access it by the end of the day, Gila, just message me and we'll figure something out. Hopefully you'll be able to get in there. And if not, like I said, message me and we'll figure something out. Can you talk a little about 1-3 projectors? Right. So projectors, wait for an invitation, figure out what your strategy is, or your authority is. 1-3, it's like the mad scientist. You know, it's like the one is the investigator, three is the martyr. So I've been talking a lot about the 3 5. The three is trial and error. It's learning through mistakes, right? You either win or you learn. Either way, it's a good day for me. The one is the investigator. So asking a lot of questions, right? Wanting to know what it's made of. So that if you're going to build something, if you're going to build a solid foundation, you need to know, or if you're going to build a house, you want to know, is the foundation solid? Right? Because if it's not solid, then I'm going to build my house somewhere else. So that's the 1 3, and it's very like how you say, very methodical, very thought out. Takes time to see your results, because again, it takes time to like experiment and have the failures. And yeah, depending on what your authority is, it will tell us again whether it's like, if you're splenic, it's usually going to be faster. If you're emotional, it's usually slower. Spleen is here to teach speed and reflexes. Emotions are here to teach relaxation and patience and love and those virtues. 5 1. So 5 1, my partner's a 5 1. That's the like that's like the like the gifted surgeon in a way, because it's like the 5 1, like the gift, like House. You guys know House? You know who House is? Hopefully you know who House is. He's this doctor that's just like absolutely brilliant, but he's a total asshole. That's kind of what the 5 1 is like, or rather, the profile of the 5 1 is one that's meant to bring solutions based off of investigations, but they're not really here to like make sure that people use them, right? They're just here to like bring bring the action, and it's like the very mic drop kind of energy. Now, it doesn't mean that's the only way to live, but if you experiment with living that way, you'll probably find that it feels more natural for you. I'm a 5 1, yes. Yes. 6 2 hermit role model. So 6 2 is, for the first 30 years of all 6 lines, you live like a martyr. So 0 to 30, you're dating the wrong person, have the wrong job, have the wrong friends, live in the wrong place. At 30, you retreat. This is where your second line is kind of like coming online as well. But you get to go what they call going on the roof. So it's like first 30 years you're at a party, and then you go on the roof between 30 and 50. At 50, you then re-enter the world as a role model, which is, hey, this is how to manifest a signature as an emotional manifesting generator, as a splenic projector, as a ego manifester, whatever yours is. Your role model thing, the thing that you're supposed to role model is, hey, this is how I manifest my signature, right? Second line is the line of a hermit. So just making sure that you're getting enough alone time for yourself. Nothingness. How come nothing good happens to me? Probably because you're not looking at all the good things that have already happened to you. Like, did you wake up today? That's it. I would consider that to be a good thing, that you woke up and you didn't just die in your sleep. Yeah, undefined spleen definitely resonates with distorted description, right? Yeah, so it's like, again, all of these centers have healthy functions, natural functions, and then they have distorted functions, right? And if you can, and again, if you get your body graph from my website, this is Neutrino Design, which you can download on my website, and it'll give you 25% off for the full app. Just don't do it through the App Store or the Play Store. Do it through my website. It'll send you an email with a code, then you plug that code into the app that you download, and then you'll have access to the whole thing. It's only $26 for the year, which is insane. Like, there are apps that will charge you $26 for the month, and they suck. They suck. So anyway, when I purchase the personal report, will all the numbers and graph be explained? Yes. So all of these placements, all of these centers, and this is what I was saying here as well, is in your report, you'll have, for each of your centers, you'll have a description of what a healthy, undefined heart looks like, and what a distorted, healthy, or a distorted, undefined heart will look like. And then your goal is to, for the next month, use your strategy and authority and track 9 metrics about your centers. The report is text, not audio. Please try being grateful for all the good things in your life. Stop focusing on the negative. Yeah, and nothingness. It's like I totally get that question. Like, why is nothing good happening to me? But definitely spend some time, and like even right now, if you could just journal out what are some things that you're grateful for, do that. because you unfortunately cannot make good things happen to you. You just have to track the good things that happen to you. The more that you're paying attention and focusing on the good things that are happening to you, the more likely it is that good things will continue to happen to you, right? Because then you start to realize like the good things that are happening to me are like the important things. Like I have enough air to breathe, I have enough food, I have shelter, I have a place to live. Like I live a very minimal life. Some of the best things that happen to me are the fact that I get food, that I have a nice place to live. It's very rainy, so the fact that my place doesn't have any leaks. Anyway, what 9 things do you track? Your centers. So it's like healthy defined root. What does that look like? I know what that looks like, and I know what the unhealthy version of it looks like as well. I'm going to track that in my life, right? And again, it's important to do this for yourself before you start doing this for other people. I got the app months ago from the App Store. Is it different on your website? I find myself lost. No, so it's the same app. It's the same app. If you get it through my website, you just get a discount. That's all. Um, Pardon me, friends. Your boy needs some water. I'm gonna go, but I emailed you. Onion, much love, sis. Have a wonderful day. JQ just got the app. Great decision. Might be one of the best decisions you've made regarding human design. Because again, guys, there's a lot of stuff out online, and not all of it is good. Yes, a lot of it is just kind of garbage, actually. Um, and not to say that it's like wrong information, but it's like it's right information but wrong context, right? Oh yeah, almost none of it is really that great. Um, what's it called? So the app is called Neutrino Design, which again, my favorite app because not only is the information the best, but the information is also editable. So if you find something in your experiment that is like consistent and you can verify, you can update. Like when you click on the solar plexus, if you like, I want to add that a healthy defined solar plexus for me is ABCD, and I've learned this over 3 years. You can add that to your information so that when you're going through somebody else's chart and you click on that thing, if it's the same thing, the same gate or the same center, your information will pop up there. Then you can also export that information. So let's say you have a friend who's learning human design and they like the way you talk about it. You can edit the information on your own app and then send a code to somebody else, and they can have all the information that you cultivated on your app on their app. This app was designed to break things, guys, in a good way. It's designed by a 3-5 manifesting generator who's epic. Will focusing on using defined centers energies help balance my undefined centers? Yes, definitely. Now, what you're doing is you're focusing on keeping these defined centers healthy and active. That will definitely make it easier, because what happens usually is people place a lot of value and they actually focus on these undefined centers. They're trying to like solve other people's problems or convince people that they're certain, or convince people that their way of thinking is the best, or convince people that they're the ones in control, they're the ones delivering, they're the ones that are the best, they're the ones that are first, they're trying to prove themselves, right? So when you start relying on your defined centers, you can take energy away and value away from these centers, which just allows them to be more open. Projector with one defined center, what's your best advice for me? Depends on your defined center. But Erica, this app is called Neutrino Design. And if you go on my website, you can get it for 25% off, which means $26 US dollars, 26 US dollars for the entire year, which is the best deal you'll get. You gave an exercise for an undefined head center. Do you have some movement for undefined heart or G? Oh, interesting. So, Robin, this is actually the kind of stuff that we're pioneering in the archive. When it comes to exercises for the, what did you say? Undefined G, undefined heart and G. If you go into the archive and you start looking at the Makawao biomechanics, there's a lot of stuff on like rotations. There's exercises on rotations that are really helpful for the heart and the G. Boys from the Playroom, hello from Stockholm, hello. Hello, 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 and goodbye, my friends. It's actually it's past my bedtime, not bedtime, but it's past my live time. I actually have other stuff to do. I totally kind of spaced out on there. Thank you guys for such a great live. This was really a good one. Appreciate you guys. Again, just one more invitation. Anyone that wants to work one-on-one with me, my calendar is in my website. Anyone that wants to get the app, it's on my website. Anyone that wants a report, it's on the website. I highly recommend that anybody that wants to do like more embodiment training or wants exercises to embody human design, come to the archive, which is my online or my membership, my online membership. There's a discussion forum. There's also courses already uploaded there, like probably at this point, probably over 100 hours of courses there that are going to give you physical exercises, not like this is human design, it's physical exercises to embody this information. Um, let's see. And then I'll talk about this emotional wave. So any advice to understanding the emotional wave? In the archive, there's a course called Soft Tissue, which will teach you how to passively hunt, or I say actively hunt, adhesions or pain points in your body, trigger points in your body, which will actually release emotional energy and emotional waves. So that's one of my favorite ways to work with the emotions. But the 4-step process, happy birthday, Marlena. Just got your report. Congratulations. Great birthday present. Step 1, identify the emotions that you're in. I'm in an emotional way. Great. Step 2, go somewhere safe. Don't be around people that like to problem solve or that are uncomfortable with your emotions. Step number 3 is move the water in your body. So this is the actual somatic processing. Cry the tears. Say what you need to say. Again, just don't do it around the person that's super insecure or the person that it's about. Like if you need to say I hate you to your husband, say it, just not to his face or anywhere that he can hear it. But if you don't say it, it'll be stuck in your throat. And every time you're around him, there's this muffled, I hate you, right? Because you didn't say it. So say the thing that needs to be said, cry the tears. The 4th step, most important, lay down, integrate shit. That's it. Sounds simple, and it really is. But people want to make emotions more complicated than they are. It's just water moving through your body. Okay. Doesn't matter how you deal with it. You just have to you have to be with it and ride it out. Otherwise, it's stuck. It's stuck inside you, and you'll end up hating yourself. People will end up hating you as well, unfortunately. So, I write letters that I never send to people I'm frustrated with. Jenny, I love that technique. That's one that I recommend as well. Write the things out that you need to say. Also, say them as you're writing them, though, because part of this is a two-way channel. Things come up it and things go down it, right? You want to learn how to get a bigger neck, come join the archive. But with that, guys, I love you. We're live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So if you want to do this again, make sure you're following me. There's nothing worse than like having a great live session and then not knowing who the creator was. ReikiMarco. Make sure you guys follow me. Come check out my page because I got a bunch of information on there. And genuinely, like, I'm here to help you guys manifest your best life. Not what I think is the best, your best life. Subscriber only on Mondays. I think we're gonna do we're gonna do a probably a special one for subscribers on one of the days. I haven't figured it out yet, but we'll figure it out. But everyone's gonna be it'll be a public live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. And there are going to be posts coming for the subscribers only. So keep an eye out for the posts if you are subscribed. Big thanks to all the subscribers. How do I look at you guys where you're at? Burnmeister, Sexy Sweet Subtle, SMD25, Schmally, T Fitzgerald, ADHD Finds Highest Love, Misty Babbo, Hello Jean, Jenny, Dylan Sean, Courtney Dixon, and Awakened Knowledge. Oh, wow, we have a lot more subscribers than I thought we do. Thank you guys so much. I love you guys. I will see you on Monday, and you'll see more of my posts and everything later today and tomorrow. But big love to you guys. Again, everything you need human design wise from me is going to be on my website. There are a lot of scammers out there. So if someone reaches out to you saying that, pretending to be me, it's not me. I'm not going to reach out to you. And if I do, I'm not going to ask you for money. I'm probably going to say I want to give you something for free. But don't give any money to anybody unless you do it through my website, because that's the only way the money's actually going to get to me. So with that, peace. Love you guys. Aloha.